Sometimes we go through our studies and see the world in highly compartmentalized ways. So I think that the value of this kind of interdisciplinary work is to decompartmentalize and show interconnections, so that the students don't leave their education believing that history is not related to chemistry in any way. Well, it is, and it needs some thought to find those connections, but they're there. And the world is a complex place. So perhaps in short, the interdisciplinary aspect of this work demonstrates the complexity of the world.
In pairs, 10th graders conducted chemical experiments to learn about various elements and compounds. Then they headed to the library to research historical and contemporary war and conflicts, making all kinds of connections between history and science and current events. Next, students produced lengthy argument and descriptive papers based on their research. Each paper went through an extensive critique and editing process. First, each paper had to satisfy a student-run editorial board. Then humanities teacher Peter Jana and science teacher Daisy Sherrick read the drafts and provided feedback. Some papers went through 16 drafts. Then students put on their artistic hats and created an original artwork illustrating their chemical and conflict. Even the artwork was a science project, as students etched copper plates and oxidized the copper to produce spellbinding art science creations. The project culminated in a public presentation where students articulated to families in the community just how interconnected the chemical world and the social world really are. And finally, Chemistry and Conflict was published into a sleek, professional quality book available to the public for purchase. When learning in school is complex, challenging, interconnected, then school becomes a different place. More engaging, more relevant, more connected.
I think Chemistry and Conflict is an example of how project-based learning can align with the Common Core. The Common Core's emphasis on argument writing and the Common Core's emphasis on nonfiction texts is in Chemistry and Conflict.
Students write informative, explanatory texts, including the narration of historical events, scientific procedures, experiments, or technical processes.
So if you look at the amount of writing in Chemistry and Conflict and the type of writing they did in Chemistry and Conflict, I think the compatibility with Common Core ELA standards are fairly obvious. What we tried to do with Chemistry and Conflict was show the interconnectedness of the world and how society and history is related to things that we typically don't consider to be within the realm of society or history. One of the important takeaways, I think, is that we can combine in our teaching rigor and style. These things do not have to be separate. Critics often claim that there's a tension between style and substance in project-based learning, and I think that's a legitimate critique. But the response to that is to do projects that do both. And that's what we attempted to do with Chemistry and Conflict.